Hello and welcome back to another video on the Recipe and to another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. And once again, Rampage took place after Dynamite this week, so it's a 3-hour show, and we had a lot going on. And the biggest match of the card was Adam Copeland against a member of the House of Black. But before that, the show opened with Tony Khan saying he would be unable to run the show from the arena, but the clip was cut short by Young Bucks, who played a new intro video of Dynamite featuring themselves. And yeah, this is a really intriguing story over the coming weeks. Kind of very intrigued to see how it goes. I'm not very interested with heel GM authority figures normally, so yeah, intriguing. But when we were live in the arena, Swerve made his way out with Nana. He brought up Double or Nothing and said he doesn't know who he will face yet. The Bucks appeared on screen and said they had an opponent for him. Christy and Cade's music hit and out came the patriarchy. They attacked Swerve without saying a word. They dropped the title on Kill Switch. Nick Wayne even hit Prince Nana with his finisher. Christian promised to win the world title and give Swerve a dad his daughter to be proud for. Even though it's weird than getting a title feud, it's very intriguing, this storyline. I think this segment did a great job. Looking forward to seeing where it goes. Before it's time for Adam Copeland against Buddy Matthews. And they started slow with basic lockouts and takedowns, and they sized each other up. The two had little experience working together, so they took their time to see how their chemistry delivered. The moment they picked up the pace was when Copeland sent Matthews out of the ring for a suicide dive. The challenger was able to take control during the break and began punishing Copeland. Both men went down off gliding, with Matthews immediately signalling to the doctor to look after him. The show went for a break and they continued to wear in picture. They eventually continued the match and began brawling. They did some good work in this bout, especially after the second break. Copeland's avalanche, impaler and Matthews' various strikes all looked great. The only issue they had was how it seemed in some places. The Rated R superstar won with spear but kept attacking Matthews after the bell. Malachi Black appeared and took the Australian away before anything bad happened, but there was a moment where he was basically telling Copeland to hit Matthews, which was an intriguing end. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match on the whole. And yeah, I think probably the best opponent, and yeah, that storyline looks like it's going to continue, which I'm definitely not against. So yeah, on the whole, this was good stuff, 7 out of 10. We then saw Samoa Joe taking on Isaiah Cassidy. The crowd chanted, saying Joe's going to kill you at Cassidy, which got a smile out of the submission machine, but Cassidy grabbed Joe's towel and began dancing it. Joe went after him and propelled him into the air so he could watch him fall. What could have easily been a squash match for the former champ, so ended up looking dominant. Lasted longer than expected, but it was only a couple of minutes. Joe won clean with a muscle buster, and then praised for the crowd as they cheered and chanted his name. In a couple of minutes we were good, but on the whole it was too short to be anything special. So yeah, I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. Quite a simple win for Joe, and yeah, wasn't much more to it. Before it's time for Jericho versus Shibata, but Orange Cassidy was told Chuck Taylor would never be able to wrestle again following Trent's attack on him. He was about to threaten Baressa when he showed up. Cassidy tried to go after him, but security held him back. His former friend yelled at him, and yeah, I'm presuming this is all kayfabe, but hopefully it is anyway. But yeah, we'll have to see where it goes. It does seem like another intriguing angle before Don Callis came out and said something to Cassidy before leading him backstage. Interesting. Before Shibata took on Jericho for the FTW Championship, Jericho was acting like a face in an attempt to get more heat. He even wore a jacket with a logo for Winnipeg Jets and had his dad in the crowd. Since this was under FTW rules, the veteran brought some weapons in the ring and talking trash and some hockey pucks. Shibata did some Shibata stuff and popped the crowd with every strike. At one point, Shibata was inside a can and Jericho was hitting it using a kendo stick, but the rest of them used it like a shield and backed his rival to the corner so he could headbutt him with the can. The crowd, this ended up being more fun than it had any right to be, but there's a lot of credit goes to Shibata for finding some unique ways to use the stipulation to his advantage. Big Bill showed up and attacked Shibata, helping Jericho to retain. So yeah, I think we all knew the ending, but I thought this was better than, to be honest, I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. I think credit for both guys, they did well here. We then saw Claudio take on Brian Cage, and Claudio gave a pre-promo and a recorded video that aired during his entrance. The pair exchanged and charged at each other at the beginning, trading punches after the bell. They kept a quick pace and used various power moves to show off their impressive strength. It was a hard-hitting and physical matchup that did a lot to highlight how good both guys were when working with a powerhouse. The contest had some good spots and both men looked great, but Claudio came away from this looking better since he got the win with a sharpshooter, popping the Canadian crowd. And yeah, a pretty simple win for Claudio. And yeah, I think decent match. It was all kind of about bigging up. Shame to see that not still doing a match with Brian Cage, but to be honest, I didn't expect much difference. 6 out of 10. Before Mariah May took on Serena Deeb. Deeb showed off her technical prowess by using a variety of holds, counters and takedowns, but May wasn't about to be outdone. She kept up with the Professor, and ended up gaining the upper hand as the show cut to break. This is a great display of skill from a veteran and a rising star who brought out the best of each other. This is kind of about you just have to watch to make sure you catch everything, because they did well. Deeb knocked Murray in a submission, but she refused to tap out, so Tony Storm through the tower to stop her friend causing much damage. And yeah, this was really good. Put Deeb as over as a badass, and yeah, basically set up their match really nicely. So yeah, on the whole, gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Before AEW ended the Dynamite portion of the show with the return of Kenny Omega, Justin Rose gave him a long introduction. McLean said he wasn't good at talking about injuries, that spoke about how serious his diverticulitis was. He said he wasn't going to be able to make sure he's going to come back eventually, but then moved on to the Young Bucks. He still an EVP and retained some power, which brought out Okada. Omega said if Okada gave him a few months, they can settle their feud in the ring. Jack Perry, though, attacked him from behind while Okada grabbed the chair. The Best Bout Machine ended up taking Perry out, but seemed to be in pain as he did it. Perry ended up hitting him in the gut with a chair before the Bucks arrived. They hit the EVP trigger before the FTR came out to make the save. And yeah, this made the Elite look like such badasses, and that's exactly what you want them to do. Omega, a sympathetic babyface, and yeah, just great to see Kenny Omega back on Dynamite looking healthy. But yeah, this was a really hot ending to the Dynamite portion. Before we moved on to Jay White against Dante Martin on Rampage, the Guns ended up leaving ringside, which kept things even since Martin was flying solo too. They immediately took the fight out of the ring and began brawling. Switchblade took control and brought him back in the ring. So the high flyer sent White back out for the squared second, hit a suicide dive. The crowd energy dropped, I think it's fair to say. It probably would have got a louder reception, but Martin hit the back of his head on the top turnbuckle and signals for the ref to check on him, but he appeared to be alright and continued the fight. It was a solid contest that had some fun moments and kept this trio's feud going, but the crowd's lack of energy affected it for a bit, and I think yeah, White picked up the win with a clean DDT. But yeah, I think just the fact that they could be doing so much more than these with both these guys, I think is how lots of people feel, which is why I kind of got let down a bit. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Moving on then to Kyle O'Reilly against Rocky Romero, and after a challenging Dynamite, Romero and O'Reilly met for a singles match. Excalibur spoke about the long history between them as opponents. They started with an exchange of holds and counters that ended with Romero doing a dance. They kept it respectful and even bumped fists after one of their sequences. It was a great display of pro wrestling from two well-respected veterans who were successful over the world. They made every single thing they did look good. While there was almost nothing to criticise about this contest, it felt like they were holding back. It's possible that they have been to make their best match look even better. O'Reilly ended up winning with a clean combination. Romero looked upset but didn't get to see much because AEW immediately cut to a backstage promo with Soraya, so potentially teasing something, who knows. But I thought this was a really fun match and we'll be intrigued to see where this goes in the future. 7 out of 10. Before it's time for Romero for Willow Nightingale against Sky Blue in a street fight. The former arrived with a trash can that she immediately used to take the latter down. They took into the fight crowd right away, and Willows was not playing games and started ripping out the barricade so she could use it against her opponent. The show ended up going to overtime, so they had enough time to make this an entertaining bit of mayhem without it feeling too rushed. Blue was bleeding from the head after the break, which made her look even more of a maniac. She grabbed a bag of tacks. Both women took some painful bumps here, but it was a powerbomb through barbed wire and tables that finally secured the win for the TBS champion. And yeah, this gets 7 out of 10 for me. I thought this was really fun, chaotic and exciting brawling from start to finish, and yeah, that's the sort of wrestling I like. So yeah, on the whole, gets 7 out of 10 for me, and I think yeah, it's really great to see that the women's division can do stuff like that, because I think they showed here that it was really effective. Overall, AEW Dynamite for me gets a 7 out of 10. I thought, yeah, it was a really good episode of Dynamite this week, actually. Very effective with the stuff that happened, pretty much from start to finish. So I think, yeah, the Omega stuff was great. Some great matches in the card, including the last match, the Copeland match that springs to mind. So yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed it and gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.